Hello everyone, how you doing today? Here we have the TSR Dungeons & Dragons Expert Rules, Volume 2, Fantasy Adventure Book Expert Rule Book. Written by Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson. 1974, 77, 78, and 1981. It's the original fantasy role-playing game for 3 or more adults ages 10 and up. Yeah! Here we have a wizard casting a spell and looking into the present, or maybe the past, possibly the future. This wizard must be at least level 12 to cast a spell such as this. I'm pretty certain this is a 6th level spell. At least 6th level, if not 7th or 8th. Or yeah, number 9! There's 9th level spells in Dungeons & Dragons, and they are powerful. Yeah, that's why a wizard is badass when they can cast level 9 spells. You don't want to anger a wizard who knows level 9 spells, okay? Let us turn this book over. Stop! Read this before purchase. This product does not stand alone. It has been designed to be used with the Dungeons & Dragons basic rulebook. It cannot be used by itself. If you do not own the Dungeons & Dragons basic rulebook, you will not be able to use this book to play this game. Oh no! If you don't have the basic rule book, you see, you will not be able to play this awesome game. Yeah, because you see, there's monsters in it that want to eat your character for lunch, possibly supper, or save your character's innards and guts, especially your character's gizzard, for breakfast, because adventurer gizzards are tasty for breakfast. Yeah! Let's take a look at some of the artistry. This book was illustrated by these fine folks. This book was illustrated and written in such a manner that if you must have multiple books, you see, you must have multiple books in order to play this game. You see, I'm telling you, stop right there. If you don't have the awesome books that accompany this book here, then you can't play this game. So get your wallet out and buy more books. Get your wallet out and buy more books. That's what I'm telling you. Yeah, there's character classes, and there's clerics, and there's fighters, and there's halflings, and magic users. Apparently, a halfling was a class back in the day when Dungeons & Dragons was not considered standard rules today. Yeah, you see, because they had halflings as a class. And now halflings are a race. Then you got magic users, which was expanded upon and made into wizards, sorcerers, and possibly even other casters like witches and warlocks. Magic users is a broad term, as we all know, that could encompass anything and everything under the sun. Yeah, anything and everything under the sun, because magic users are able to advance up to 36th level. And as magic users reach higher levels, they will become extremely powerful characters, but it's a difficult task to reach the high levels. Their poor combat ability and few spells at lower levels balance the power they eventually achieve. You see? Therefore, Magic users must be cautious at lower levels, for no player can expect his or her magic user character to survive long without protection. Magic users may add more spells to their spellbook arsenal through spell research. Did you see that? I added the word arsenal, and it's not in the sentence. Yeah. At 9th level, wizards or above, magic users may also create magical items. Oh yeah, that's powerful stuff, okay? You got to be a wizard magic user. So apparently magic user, there's a subclass called wizard. Now you see, that was a little bit different than what it is today. They were going for something complicated, but they just didn't quite nail it. So they simplified things and then made them complicated again. That's just the way it goes. Let's take a look at how much it would have cost for a battle axe back in the day. 7 gold pieces. You go out and you work and you earn yourself 7 gold pieces. You can get yourself a battle axe. And it's two-handed, so you're probably going to want to have at least a 16 strength, maybe even 17. But if you work a little hard at it, why don't you get that 18 strength, okay? Before you get yourself a two-handed axe, that's a battle axe, get yourself that 18 strength. What about a catapult? You can get yourself catapults. 100 gold pieces will get you a light catapult. Catapult shot will get you for 5 gold. You know, the ammunition. The pitch, which I think is shot, pitch is like tar, which you can light on fire. And it looks like I have something here for 10,000. This is my own handwriting, folks. Oh, an actual catapult. That's not a light catapult. Must have been like a 10,000. That's a huge. That's like 100 times 100 is 10,000. That's a huge increase. Why did I do that? Who knows? There must have been a reason. Thieves' tools cost you 25 gold pieces. You see? You want to buy some garlic? It's going to cost you 5 gold pieces. They got vampires in Dungeons and Dragons, even back then. Of course they did. Yes, did they have vampires back in the day? Why, yes, they did. I am not a vampire, but you look like a tasty morsely treat. Can I eat you for breakfast? Actually, that's not a question. I just like to entice my victims and get their hearts racing because it makes them a little bit more tasty. Get that adrenaline going. Yeah, I'm gonna eat your gizzard, boy. Yeah, it's tasty. Oh, delicious gizzards for breakfast. Adventurer gizzard. No, you may not have my gizzard, boy. You see this, what I have here on my chest? This is why. What the heck is that? That's some sort of like emblem. Very, very clever from the artist. Makes the mind think. What could that be? What could that be? Looks like a dragon of some sort, you know? A silhouette. Oh, this dragon's getting disintegrated. Disintegrate. Yeah, see? This spell will disintegrate any single non-magical creature. Non-magical. Dragons are considered magical, so this must be a worm. W-Y-R-M. I believe is how it's spelled. Non-magical creatures. Oh, let's start again. This spell will disintegrate any single non-magical creature or object. A tree, a dragon, a ship. Dragons are magical, and they must not have been back in the day. So I would say that dragons do not count. A 10-foot section of wall, there you go, and so forth. Disintegrate is actually not that powerful then. Maybe it's more powerful now. I don't know. I've not really read the spell. This is the first time I've read the Disintegrate's description since I think I've played the game. I just do what the spell says and do it, you see, because now we have computers when we play our Dungeons and Dragons games that figure that all out for us, and there's a description, but we really don't know how it works. It's up to us to figure it out. Yeah. Creatures are allowed a saving throw versus death ray with success resulting in no effect. I think that's different now. If they fail their saving throw, I think they still take damage. I don't know. Let us continue here. I hope you've enjoyed this video so far, and thank you for watching up to this point. You are awesome. Hit that like button if you haven't already. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, look. Look at the illustration here. You see where I got a lot of my motivation? I would just stare at this because the artistry, this is all done by hand. This is going to soon be a lost art. Only those that truly practice it and pass it on down or are actually born with the natural gift will be able to continue artwork such as this. But you see, there's techniques and there's skill involved here. Vanishing points, different points, erasing lines that were drawn here that were later erased. They could have made a grid pattern here. The techniques will be lost because now everything's done with artificial intelligence. And yeah, that's just the way it goes. Sometimes the advancement will actually make things go away, lost talents and skills. And that's just the way it is. There are many, many inventions and talents and skills that we just don't see anymore in today's society. Look at these pictures. I remember this well. I used to look at that a lot. I remember that well. This is just so interesting and just, it makes the eye follow. There's so much going on here. And you got to think to yourself, what is this? Yes, that is what it is. It's a funny creature to say its name, and that's why I'm not going to say it. It's got an armor class of 6, it's got a hit dice of 5, and it's got a couple asterisks there. I think you take that hit dice and multiply that by 8 or 10, depending on what you want to do. Here you'd have about 40 hit points. That's why they say hit dice. So you could say a 6 hit dice creature if you'd like and make the monsters a little bit easier to kill. It all depends on how you'd like to tweak the rules just a little bit, but to where you're not breaking the rules. For the house, and trust me, Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson encouraged that. And Gary, I once read what he said in one of his books. I believe it's the Dungeon Master's Guide for Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And he said in that book, and I'm not quoting verbatim, I'm just trying to remember what I think I read and going to break it down into the couple words what I think he meant. If you are playing with another person in a campaign of Dungeons and Dragons and using pencil and paper, or in other words, the old school ways of playing Dungeons and Dragons, and if you happen to tweak the rules a little bit, and other players, other people sitting at the table kind of agree with that, everybody's like, yeah, that sounds okay. Then you have that one player out of the group that says, no, that can't be done, you see, because right here on page so-and-so it says that this sperm whale can grow no longer than 60 feet. Let's just say there's a sperm whale in the water, and that sperm whale is 80 feet because that's what the game master said it was. Everybody's like, yeah, okay, I remember reading that sperm whales can grow no longer to be 60 feet. And then you got that one person in the group that says, no. It can't be longer than 80 feet. It's got to be 60. You are immediately recommended to kick that person out of your campaign. According to Gary Gygax, when you get the opportunity, have that character player removed from the campaign and just said, have a nice day. Your character is no longer welcome with this group. Then you tell them to take their backpack and their belongings and their pencils and their character sheet, and you tell them to go home and go to bed and think about their life. And maybe they can come back and be civil and understand that sometimes rules can be bent just a little bit, because not everything is written in stone, although they were back in the day before paper was invented, boy. Things were written on stone, but it's a figure of speech. You see what I'm telling you? Pay attention, class. Oh, yeah. This has been a Dungeons and Dragons brief reading, a very, very brief reading, looking at artwork and reading. Yeah, Suffice to Say's channel. You're watching Suffice to Say's channel here. And I am a D&D expert. That's right. Wandering monsters, you see? Wandering monsters. Random encounters. Dungeons and Dragons was the game that introduced random encounters, wandering monsters. The concept was first established by this game here, right here. You must be absolutely proud to know that. You understand? But first, stop before you read this. Stop before you read this. No, stop, read this before purchase, okay? Every time you buy a book, you must turn it over and read the back cover, okay? Because there's always important information on the back cover, and if this was not read, there could have been pandemonium! You see, because I'm pretty sure I do have these books somewhere here in my domicile. This has been Suffice to Say. Have a great day. 15 minutes, 16, 17 minutes. Have a great day.